Sometimes I look at him, and I don't understand why he chose me. He's younger, handsome, athletic, full of life and masculinity. The kind of man that walks into a room and the room notices, not quietly, not politely, but in that way where heads turn just a little too fast, eyebrows lift and you can almost catch it, that subtle moment when someone wets their lips without even realizing why, like people are trying not to stare, but they are. And somehow, he chose me. And I'll be honest with you, I keep waiting for the day he realizes he could do better than me. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not falling apart over here. I still have my charm. I still have my mind, my heart, my virility. I still have, well, most of my hair depending on the lighting and how forgiving the mirror feels that day. But I'm not who I used to be. And that's where the story begins. Because when I look in the mirror, I don't just see who I am, I see who I was. And let me tell you something, that comparison is not fair. Not even a little bit. There are mornings when I wake up, walk into the bathroom, look at myself and think, wow, you've lived a life. And not always in a poetic, beautiful way. Sometimes it's more like, wow, gravity has been very consistent with you. Remember these moments where your body reminds you that time has been working, even when you weren't paying attention. My knees make sounds now, sounds I didn't know knees could make. I don't bend. Well, not all the time, but I negotiate with my body. And sometimes, we don't reach an agreement. And yet, there he is, standing next to me, looking at me, like I'm something special. And that confuses me, because the world doesn't look at me that way anymore. Let's be honest, after a certain age, the world gets quieter around you. Not peaceful quiet, invisible quiet. You walk into a room and people don't see you first. You become background. And then suddenly, this man walks into your life and looks at you like you're the only thing in focus. And your first reaction is not gratitude, it's suspicion. You start asking questions in your head like a detective with too much time. What does he want? What is he getting out of this? Is this temporary? Is there a younger version of me he's secretly waiting for? And the worst one, how long until he leaves? Because that fear, it's always there. Not loud, but constant. Like a low hum in the background of your thoughts. And sometimes, I ask him things I shouldn't ask. Not because I want to, but because I need to hear it. Do you still want me? And part of me already knows the answer, but the other part wants it in writing, signed, notarized, and preferably renewed every 6 months. Now imagine being a grown man, asking that question. It doesn't feel dignified. It doesn't feel strong, but it feels real. And he looks at me with this calm, almost amused expression and says,
"Why do you keep asking me that?"
And I want to say, because I don't see what you see, please let me borrow your eyes so I can see myself through them. But instead, I say something like, just making sure, as if love is something you can confirm like a reservation. Table for two? Still available? Good. But love doesn't work like that. And deep down, I know it. But knowing something and believing it are two very different things. Because when I look at him, I see everything he could have. And when I look at myself, I see everything I'm not anymore. And that gap, that space between those two perspectives, that's where insecurity lives. And you would think that once you marry him, that feeling disappears. That somehow, a ring fixes your mind, that waking up next to him every day would finally silence that voice in your head. But it doesn't. It softens. Yes, it comforts. Yes, but it doesn't disappear. Because insecurity is not cured by love. It is revealed by it. And sometimes, the more someone loves you, the more you realize how hard it is for you to love yourself. That's where fear grows. That's where you start thinking things that are not true, but feel very convincing. Like, he deserves better. Now here's the part that changed everything for me. One night, we were sitting together, nothing dramatic, no music, no candles, no movie moment, just two people, in silence. And he looked at me and smiled. Not the kind of smile you give when someone tells a joke. Not the polite smile, a soft, quiet, I'm at peace with you kind of smile. And something in me shifted, because for the first time, I stopped looking at myself, and I tried to see myself through his eyes. And what I realized surprised me. He doesn't see age the way I do. He doesn't measure me against my past. He doesn't compare me to other men. He's not doing any of that. He sees me, not my years, not my flaws, not my history, just me. And suddenly, all those things I thought were working against me were not even part of the equation. It's much easier to believe someone else is going to leave you than to admit you don't feel worthy of being loved. That's a harder truth, but it's the real one. Because this man, he didn't stay despite my age. He stayed because of who I am. And I had to learn that, slowly, with resistance, with doubt, with moments where I still questioned everything, but also with moments of clarity, moments where I could finally say, maybe, just maybe, this is real. And here's the funny part. You spend so many years thinking that love belongs to the young, that passion belongs to the young, that being desired belongs to the young. And then life comes in with a sense of humor and says, actually, no. Because here you are, older, a little heavier, a little slower, with more stories than plans, and somehow more loved than ever. And if that's not irony, I don't know what is. So now, when I look at him, I still have moments of doubt. I'm human. But they don't control me the way they used to, because I understand something now that I didn't understand before. I am not being loved despite who I am. I am being loved because of who I am. And that changes everything. It changes the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you allow yourself to be seen, because you stop trying to compete with a version of yourself that no longer exists, and you start accepting the man you are today. And that man is enough, more than enough. So every night, before I go to sleep, I say a quiet thank you, not for more time, not for youth, not for a second chance, but for something much more rare, someone who sees me in a way I never could. And maybe I was never too old to be chosen. Maybe I just didn't know how to see myself. But if you are like me, if you find yourself needing constant reassurance, if you keep asking, do you still want me? Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. The problem is not that he doesn't love you enough. The problem is that you don't believe you are worthy of that love. And no amount of reassurance, no number of I love yous, no ring, no promise, no years together will ever be enough until you learn to see yourself differently. Because the truth is, he is not asking you to be younger. He is not asking you to be perfect. He is only asking you to accept the man he already chose. And that man is you.